And now, from Glasgow.
So, hello, welcome to this week's weekly update. I'm filming this on, I think, it's Saturday morning. It is Saturday morning. Why do I say I think it's Saturday morning? So, many of you may have jobs where you work so hard or you work long hours and you get to the point where you have no idea what the day is. I've just come off the back of 6 night shifts, so I really am no idea what's going on in my head. It is what it is, you know. I'm earning good money again now. I'm doing the job that I absolutely love, and yeah, so days and planning things is becoming a nightmare. So I thought today what we will do, because I made my last weekly update just before I was about to start 6 nights on the trot, I didn't think I'd have an awful lot to tell you this week. How wrong I was. So I am going to begin with the part work situations, and then I will go on to sort of more personal life. So last week, Monday, we had an episode of the E.T. Nice. I did watch some of it back again. Now I'm getting a little bit worried about the E.T. Because the next payment is overdue. According to my accounting software, I use an old version of Microsoft Money to keep track of all my finances. I did find time to keep up to date with all my everything that's going on. I've reached a point on this new job now where the wage slips are flowing in now, so I'm no longer borrowing off my savings to make up my money, and I've updated everything. And I can see that at the time of filming, let me have a look, the payment for the ET is overdue by about 4 days. It might go out today, I don't know. But once the payment's been made, it's about 2 weeks till it arrives. Which means that this time in 2 weeks, fine, I'll be sitting here saying ET is due tomorrow. But if it's longer than, well, it might be all right. Sorry, this time 2 weeks will be another RoboCop. But I've got 3 weeks until the next ET is due that I haven't already filmed. So what I'm going to do when the next pack arrives, instead of filming it over 2 videos, I'm going to film it over 3. So it'll be two issues per video, and that'll bump me just a little bit ahead. Now tomorrow is RoboCop, and I am caught up so much on the RoboCop that I haven't even filmed tomorrow's yet. I'm going to sit and film it as soon as I finish this weekly update. We are working on the next 4 stages, are all to do with the leg, and if the leg isn't finished after the next 4 episodes, so we've got Spirit being very cuddly at the moment. She always is cuddly, but she's extra cuddly. I'll update you on her later on. So we've got so what I'm going to do is again, I don't want to be in the same situation as the ET, so the RoboCop I'm going to do 2 single episodes this tomorrow and in fortnight's time. Then it'll be a double episode, and it'll always then be a double episode, and that way I'll be about 2 to 4 weeks ahead. So tomorrow's a RoboCop. I can't tell you how the build went because I haven't built it yet. Tuesday. So this coming Tuesday, I've done it. I'm going to do it. Warhammer will be re-released. So the way I was waiting for the right time to do Warhammer, and every week I'm coming up with some excuse for not doing it. I've filmed ages ago episodes 25 to 27. 28 hasn't been filmed. 29 has been made. 30 hasn't been touched. Now from 30 it will be 2 weeks to do one episode, one issue, because what had happened was I got the next pack, and I'm now up to, I've received up to 74 I think, and there's only 80 in the whole series. So the next pack, which will be due maybe in a couple of weeks, that will have 75, 76, 77, 78. Then in 4 weeks time it'll be 79, 80, and that'll be finished. And it's going to take me 100 weeks just to catch up with it. So I've just sort of said, right Penny, let's release that issue that you made ages ago. So then it then forces me into doing 28 and 30, and then what's going to happen, the next 3 videos, they're going to be inconsistent in the sense that you're going to see a video that's quite clearly made in the hotel that I haven't been in for bloody ages, and then you'll see one that's quite clearly made on my desk here. Then the next week will be quite clearly in the hotel, and then the one after that will either be made in a spray booth or will be made on the desk, and then the consistency happens. Wednesday, so last week was the second stage of the bus. It's by the nature of it, it's quite a slow start. I did episode 1, and a lot of it was, this is how you cut the pieces of wood off, this is how you clean them up, and then we've glued just a couple of pieces together. The way that I do my videos is I make them as though people have never seen a build before, but I then don't repeat myself on instructions. So episode 1 will be, you cut the piece off the fret in this way, blah blah blah, and then once we cut, well, in a future video when we cut another piece off, we go, you cut it off and clean it up as we've already done before, and then you glue it on like we've already done before, and then if there's a new trick, or this is how you sand it, for example. So it's now actually starting to build. Now it is going to be, I have intentionally done this as a slow build. I've done it in the frame of mind, although I've got the entire kit in one go. I've done it, let's pretend it was a part work. How would it look if it was released as a part work? So you'll get some videos where there's not much to do, and you'll get some where there's lots to do. We've got an episode coming up, I haven't filmed it yet, but there's a lot of painting to do, and it's all painted in one stage, and I'm wondering whether to split those stages. So maybe one stage you paint the red, for example, and the next video you paint the white. I'm having real problems here because Spirity Cat is being extra friendly. What if I do this? Will you settle down? Maybe you could go on the cat cam spot. So that's going all right. I need to crack on and film a few more of those. I'm trying to be a couple of weeks ahead on those. Now the gauntlet on a Thursday, I'm sorry, but I can only describe that as what a mess. Last week was the Premium Base issue 3. This week you've got 69, 68, 69 coming, and then next week you've got Premium Base 4. Now, as you will find out, things are pretty much now changing on a day-to-day basis with it. I filmed some more episodes last night for future release. That has been done so far in advance now because of various things. I have actually filmed that right up to 3rd of October, and I'm trying to now look at say 3 issues in one video, and then that will give me 3 videos a month, which means it'll slowly catch up, but they're making it so hard. So in the previous pack we were supposed to receive stage 70, I think it was. Let me have a look. Yeah, So we were supposed to receive stage 70 and 71 was missing. But they actually sent us the magazine for 70 and the parts for 71. And it left the whole gauntlet. You'll see this week. This will all come out. They've left us at a stage where one of the halves of the gauntlet, you can actually see it up there, but the piece that I'm talking about is round the reverse. And they've left it so you attach a piece of plastic to the metal outer. You then screw that to the gauntlet via 2 screws, and then you've got a couple of locating tabs down the bottom, which means that the whole half is attached with 2 screws. If you were to lift that up too much incorrectly, no, don't do that, that's my keyboard. Go and investigate that little soft cushion there. That's lovely. So yeah, if you lifted it up wrong, you would just snap those pieces of plastic off. No, absolutely no question. So it's been sat there for a month very precariously, so I was a little bit annoyed. Now the next pack has just come, and we didn't get stage 70. We were supposed to get stage 71. Now let me check. I think we're missing a magazine. We didn't get the parts for issue 70. We got the parts for 72, which is a side panel. Now, once you put the side panel on, basically what you've got is you've got 2 panels that are attached, but there's a gap between them. And then you get another plate later on, which will attach those plates. You've got some trim, issue 70. Then you've got more trim, 71, which attaches to 70. And then you receive a side panel, which 70 and 71 attaches to that. Now, what I've done is I've attached the side panel, but I've only just put the screws in enough to bite. It's now added some strength to the whole model. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to touch them anymore in terms of video. Once they come in, I'll show you that I've done them. And I'll get away with that because you've got panels on the other side. And I suspect it'll be an absolutely identical process. So I'll go into detail about the other panel. Now, we weren't supposed to receive that missing part until issue 96, which is coming up for Christmas. But we feel that we can still build around it. It's something I don't like doing. So we felt we could still carry on building. Now the next stages after that panel is the Soul Stone, which you will see on the 26th of September. And then stage 75 and 76 begins the finger, which is still sitting in that little box untouched. I haven't even started building it, so I figured once I get the next pack, I'm looking at maybe building 5 or 6 stages in one go, so 75 and 76 plus whatever comes in the following pack, and then that will build the finger. The finger isn't anything new. It's just put together. It's a big collection of small pieces, and it builds the finger from the tip all the way down. So we'll try and get now the fingers have been 11 stages. We'll try and get the fingers done maybe in 2 stages, and that'll be a really good catch up then. And obviously we've got Premium Base 6 will be coming in in the next pack. I think Premium Pack 6 will complete the base of the base, and then future issues we'll see what happens beyond the base. But you can't see the base, but if you look at where the gauntlet is, where my hand is there's a little black bit. That's the base that comes with the model. The Premium base is bigger and a little bit more singing and dancing. So that's a bit confusing there, isn't it? Now, Lancaster, I am bringing the Lancaster back. If I sound like I'm complaining, please understand I'm not, because I understand everybody has a life. My initial excuse for not doing the Lancaster was part of my Lancaster videos shows me looking at building with the boys videos, so I can do the comparison between Harshare and Hong Kong models. For whatever reason, Scott hasn't been releasing those videos, which has kind of held me back. But that reason has begun to turn into an excuse. So I want to crack on and get some more Lancasters out, because they're 6 months behind now. We're 6 months behind now. So I'm going to be asking a favour. I haven't asked Scott the favour yet, so I think it's a bit unfair to ask you, but it's a little plan that I've got to help me get ahead. Just to compound that, issues 7 and 8 was painting Guy Gibson. Here he is. And I don't know what's happened. I've completely lost the footage. So I'm still going to call them 7 and 8, but I'm just going to remake 7, 8 and say, look, this is the pilot that I've made, blah, 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 blah. But I've got six figures to paint. So by not showing you how I painted him, you aren't going to lose out, because what I'll do is I'll just go into detail on, say, the Navigator and how I paint him. So that's going to be a little bit of a mess. So the Lancaster is returning this Friday, I absolutely promise you. And now the biggest problem I've got is finding the time to do the scale models. I've got a couple of videos that is almost complete, but it's been able to crack on with them. And you'll understand in a bit why I'm having a bit of trouble catching up with them. What else was there? I was just thinking of something as I said it. I owe some people an apology, although maybe I don't. I put out a video last week saying that Lidl's are releasing some Airfix kits. I went along to Lidl's on the Thursday. I might have mentioned this in the last issue, last update. So I went along to Lidl's on the Thursday. They didn't have any kits in. I said, "Oh, I'm looking for these Airfix kits. Can you help me find them?" And the guy looked at the little leaflet and he went, "Oh, they're released. They're due out on Sunday." And all right, fine. So I was actually working on the Sunday, so I didn't get to go on till the Tuesday. So I bought 10 kits. I bought 2 of everything except for the Willys Jeep, which I bought 3 of. I don't know why I bought 3. I know they've got 3 versions, but I've already built about 4 Willys Jeeps. So that's me for you. And I only built 1 Spitfire, so I bought 10 kits. I did get 2 Tiger Moths, and I did want to get 3 Tiger Moths, but they only had 2 left. So I whipped those out. I have ordered some rigging. So what I'm going to do off camera at some point is I'm going to build one, and I'm going to build it with 48 scale rigging. I know it's going to be wrong, but it's a practice in doing rigging. And then when the 72 scale rigging comes in, I can build it for your pleasure, release a video, and I can actually do the 72 scale rigging on it, and hopefully it'll look really nice. I've had a look at the instructions on the Tiger Moth, and just like the 48 scale Tiger Moth, they tell you how to build it, and then there's the end of it where it essentially says this model's fine as it is, but if you're an advanced model and you want to do the rigging, this is how you do the rigging. So it looks really nice. Right, so my news. So I have just come off the back of 6 night shifts. That's 3 round trips to London, and I was working with a lovely guy I've known him for ages, but I've not known him as a Flixbus driver. Sorry, I didn't say that. I haven't known him as a coach driver. He worked for the bus company and he was a service bus driver. And since I left, he's gone over onto the coaches. And I was working with him for 6 days because his partner was on holiday. And I had an absolutely lovely time. He was really, really nice, really helpful. He's quite inexperienced doing those runs, so there was an awful lot he didn't know. I learnt the lesson, don't try and be a hero. We had an instant where he'd done about 4 hours. I'd done a lot of driving going down. Coming back, he'd done like 4 hours, because it was like 4 hours to the stop. And then we changed over to me, and off we went. And the point I was due to change over was about 2 hours away. And I thought, that's not really fair, is it? He's just done 4 hours. I've got 2 hours done. I'm still feeling fresh. So that we'll carry on. So we then carried on all the way to Edinburgh. And now I'm up to like 4 hours drive, and I can drive 4.5 hours maximum. And I said to him, I said, it's only about 20 minutes. No, it wasn't there. It was somewhere anyway. So I'm like, whatever it was. And I thought, I haven't done a lot of driving and I still feel good. And then we got all the way to Glasgow, and I'm up to about 4 hours. And I thought, is it worth changing over drivers just to do a drive to depot? So I said, I'll carry on to the depot. And then we got to depot. I was on 4 hours and 18 minutes driving. The tacho machine was flashing at me, you need to take a break in 12 minutes. And it really was cutting it fine. And that was when the tiredness hit me really, really hard. And then I had the drive home. And the lesson I've learnt there is, if someone is prepared to do, because obviously over the 2 days, I would have done about the same amount of driving as him. And then so I did a lot more driving on the 2 days. Yeah, it was just me being, I'll just carry on. It hit me really, really hard. And then we had another 2 days, because when you do a 2-day trip, you come home and you're obviously relaxing, but you know what it's like. Every day you work, you don't rest 100%. So you might be 100% fresh on your first day, 95% fresh your second day, 90% fresh the third day. And by the time you get to the end of the week, you just need that little extra boost. And doing that took me down to, say, maybe 60%. And then I had 2 more days. It did have a bit of a knock-on effect. The other thing that I found really good fun was we'd done this this trip, and we did a changeover. Now, we pretty much have no choice but to do a changeover at a service station or somewhere pullover. You physically cannot do it legally non-stop from this bus stop to that bus stop, so you have to pull over at services. And he'd said about Durham services, and I'd actually got to this truck stop and I'd said, can we change over here? I'm a little bit tired. Plus I like changing over at sides of the roads, because once you let your passengers off, if you're at a service station, they're now going to wander off. You have trouble getting them back, and you tell them like 10 minutes and you leave it 15 minutes, but you'll still get someone who isn't back, and the next thing you know, you've left them in the middle of nowhere. You've done nothing wrong, but it's on your conscience, you've left someone behind. So if you leave them if you do your changeover by some parking bay on by a verge, they've got nowhere to go, so they don't go anywhere, and you've got them back. But also primarily, I was tired. And I didn't realise until after we'd done the change, we were only 21 miles from Durham, so I could have easily carried on to Durham. And then we actually did Durham the next day. And as I always do, I go in. A lot of these stops, they do They do things, bonuses for coach drivers, free coffee, free this if you buy something, that kind of thing. You know, you're bringing in a load of customers for them, so they give you a little bit extra. And I went in and I said to this woman, I said, "Oh, have you got any deals for coach drivers?" And she kind of looked at me. I probably would have got a better reception if I'd have pulled out a sawn-off shotgun and said, "Empty your tills." The way she looked at me. And she said, "No." And I said, "Sorry." I said, "I've not been here, not stopped here before." I said, "Some places might give us, say, for example, a free coffee. Some of us give a free coffee if you buy something to eat, etc., etc." And I said, "Oh, do you do, there's a loyalty scheme called Captain's Club." And she went, "Oh, yeah, we do that." So now what this Captain's Club is, you don't get anything for free, but every time you stop at one of their associated petrol stations, you check in. You tell them what vehicle you're driving. You tell them how many passengers you've got on. They scan it, and you get 1,000 points. And then those points get converted whenever you want to Love to Shop gift vouchers. Turns out £1,000 for one visit, 1,000 points, is worth a tenner. So just for going in there, I've earned a tenner. And that roughly translates to about £300 worth of gift vouchers come Christmas time. So I was like, brilliant, we can do that all the time. But we can't always stop there. It's you can't do it on every route, and you can do it coming to Glasgow, but you can't really feasibly do it coming down. But yeah, come Christmas, I'll have a bit of money in my pocket for gift vouchers. So, talking of spending money, I spent a lot of money. As you know, I've got my new airbrush, which I've not had a chance to try out yet. I've got my new sander, which I've not had a chance to try out yet. And of course, I bought them on the basis of some YouTube reviews, and I've been watching some more YouTube reviews. And, you know, it's not perfect. You know, a saw that goes backwards and forwards isn't always perfect. Sometimes you need a round saw. So if you're sanding a flat into a corner, the saw that goes back, a sander that goes backwards and forwards isn't going to be your best option, because it's where it's, so I don't know, but it looks a really good. I've got some uses for it where it's going to be fantastic. Plus I've got my rotary drill, which I can use for sanding. So that's going round and round rather than forward. So what have I been buying? I have bought, I'm really pleased with this. It's 120 odd quid, but it's an automatic cat feeder. I was a little bit worried about them having food when I'm gone. I do have a lovely cat sitter, you know, but I think, you know, the vets told me off for overfeeding them. And so, yeah, I've been trying it out. And obviously I've now got a week's worth of trying it out. And it's been going really well. My cats, they don't eat consistently in the day. They might eat a little bit one day, and then they'll eat loads the next day. So you put you put your food down, they eat all of it, and then the next day they hardly touch it. And this has got a feature where it looks at the food bowl, and it tells it if it's got too much food, it won't feed them. Made a couple of fine adjustments to the feeding regime. And I'm getting a video every time they eat. I'm getting a video every time the hopper fills up. And it's been going really well. And I regret nothing. Because, like I say, it was 120 quid. And I did want to get a webcam. I've got some little house cams, webcams. Let's call them CCTV. And I was going to buy another one for 20 quid to look over the food, because I wanted to keep an eye on the food. I wanted to see when they were eating. So I don't need to spend 20 quid on that webcam. So really, I've only spent £100 for the extra for the feeder. Have I done a weird justification on spending money there? I don't know. But it's really, really good. Really, really happy with it. I have also got coming a toy. It's been these I mean, I know Facebook adverts are tailored to whoever's Facebook account it is. So you may not have ever seen this advert, but I don't normally buy off Facebook because you know what they're like. They never come out as they look. But it's a little toy it chirps and it flaps its wings. And apparently the cats go mental for it because it's just like a real bird. So I took a chance on that, spent 40 quid. I did have a little mechanical fish for him when he was young, and used to USB charge it, and you turn it on, it just sits there like this, and it actually scared the crap out of him. He'd play with it when it wasn't switched on. Did I just see it? I thought I saw it. But it's the same sort of principle. Do you remember that Billy the Fish thing? Where you'd play music and it'd hear the music and it'd dance to the music. It's that kind of principle, except it's not sound activated, but it used to flap so quick, so hard, he used to run from it. So we don't switch it on anymore. And I'll see what this bird thing is like. I don't suspect it's going to be anything like the advert, but at the end of the day, worst case scenario, it's 2 overpriced toys. She'll play with it. I think she'll play with it flappy. But it's got feathers on it and she goes mad for feathers. Have you got a feather toy nearby? Because maybe we can show to people what you're like when it comes to feathers. So big, massive news. My landlord messaged me and he says, I need your phone number. I need to give you a call. And I said, oh, is everything all right? And he says, yeah, I'm selling up some houses. So I'm going to have to give you an eviction notice, which obviously is worrying me. But when I spoke to him, in a nutshell, he's not well. He's got cancer. He's all right. But he's decided to reduce his portfolio. Now, apparently this house, he's overpaid it for it. So when he comes to sell it, he'll end up selling it for less than he bought it for. So he's got another house that he's going to sell, which will make a profit. So he's going to sell the 2 houses together. One will make a loss, one will make a profit. So obviously, because the amount of profit is a lot lower, he won't pay so much, what's it called, capital gains tax. So to put it, if people don't understand the tax, the way it works is, let's say you buy a house for £100,000. When you come to sell it, let's say you sell it for 150,000. That is a profit of £50,000. So you don't pay tax on 150,000. You only pay tax on 50,000 because you pay on the profit. Now let's say you've bought 2 houses for 100,000. One you sell for 50,000 and the other one you sell for 75,000, which is a loss. So now your overall profit is £25,000. So you're only paying tax on 25,000. Otherwise, what will happen? You sell your £150,000 house. The tax man comes along, says, I want tax on 50,000. Then you sell your £75,000 house, and the tax man will go, you haven't made any profit, I won't take any tax. So you've actually lost out on 20% of 25,000, which when you're talking thousands rather than pounds, that's obviously a lot of money. So I totally get him. Now, I don't know if he's just phrased it like this, if there's another story behind it, but this other house he's going to kick the tenant out. I say kick him out. He's going to ask him to move on, and then he's going to put me in that house because 4 years, no problems. He wants to keep me as a tenant. So I'm going to move into this other house, and it's not a lot different really. I've looked at the floor plan. I've not had a chance to look at the house, but I've seen floor plans, and it's pretty much the same as this house. Windows are in a different position, doors are in a different position, carpets might be a different colour, walls might be a different colour. But the good news for me, because if you get a month's notice to move out, how do you do that when you work 6 days straight and then only have 2 days off? But it turns out, I don't know if this is any different from English law, but under Scottish law, if your tenant has been in place for more than 6 months, you have to give 84 days notice, which is really good news for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the craft room last. You guys probably won't notice anything. So I'm not going to be building anything new in terms of the craft desk. I'll still be doing my YouTube videos, but you know, the plan I had for the shelf going here and then maybe one coming across, that's not happening now. There's no point me building in this room just to take it down in 3 months time. So what we'll do is we'll spend 1 day every time I get blocks days off. We'll spend 1 day sorting a room out. We'll look at what rubbish to get rid of. We'll see what I can pack up straight away, and then when we're ready to go, it can just go bang. The landlord's agreed that I can have whatever date I've got for moving into the new place. I can move out 1 week after here, and I've had a word with my boss at work, and we're going to have a week's holiday. I'm going to have a week's holiday in order to move, because when I moved into this place, it nearly killed me. I drove all the way to London. I had 94 archive boxes, and then I brought them all in 1 day, 3 boxes at a time, up 4 flights of stairs. So I was quite literally moving boxes from the van to the flat, 3 boxes, 4 flights of stairs down, 3 more boxes, doing that 10 times, and then I was next load out of the van, and I did 94 boxes up 4, and I couldn't move my legs the next day. So I'm moving into a ground floor flat, and obviously I've got more stuff this time than I had 4 years ago. So it's just when I move, it's going to be a case of we're moving the living room on a Monday, we're moving the kitchen on a Tuesday, we're moving the bedroom on a Wednesday. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. So it'll take longer. So yeah, that's sorted out. So that will hopefully go well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start packing the whole house except for the craft room, and then I'll spend the last 2 or 3 weeks packing the craft room, and then what I'll try and do is get some videos banged out, so that I've got sort of 4 weeks worth of videos ahead, and then that way once I'm moving, you guys won't notice any difference because the videos will still be coming out. And I say I've got 3 months to get that sorted out, so I've got to try and get myself a few weeks in advance. So what that means for things like Robocop and ET, we only get a few issues a month. I might be doing a few single issues. So obviously Robocop and ET, there's only 2 videos a month because I'm sharing the slot. I might do 1 month where I will record each issue as a single, and then it'll it'll take 2 months to get through 1 pack. So I know you guys will understand that. And then we'll get everything moved, and I can settle in my new place. And I've just got to decide whether to let the cats become outdoor cats, and I'm kind of deciding against it. I've got my cat sitter has suggested no, because the roads around there are quite dangerous. I've got my neighbour is suggesting, because they've been indoor cats for so long, they just won't manage outside. They're not. What's the cat equivalent of street smart? You let some little kid out and he goes, it bumps into a youth gang. He's not going to manage, is he? And that's kind of how she's described it. I'm veering against no, because once you let them out, obviously they become outdoor cats. If I then move house, which I'm planning to do in 2 or 3 years, because I want to buy a house, I've then got to adjust them from the old house to the new, and you get all these stories, and I've had this happen to me before. You move house and the cat makes their way back to the old house, so I'll be forever coming back here and say, "Oh, is my cat there?" So, and no amount of butter on the paws can change that. So if I move into my house that I'm buying and they've never been outside, then I can evaluate the situation. You know, they might be 4 or 5 years old, but you know, if I can get a house with a back garden, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fence it all in. I'm going to put wire along the top, and then we'll have half of the garden all I'll say caged in. It won't be caged in, but it'll all be so the cats can run around in the garden and they'll be fine. I don't know. We're talking 2-3 years away. Right, I think that is it. So, oh, did I tell you about the email I got from Fanhome? I don't know if I did. This is where everything's changing, so I'm expecting a part for issue 94, but about 10 minutes before I started recording this, I love the way they've worded it. It's all, I'll be honest with you, it's all bullshit the way they've done it. It's all marketing words. So they've said this: due to an incursion into the multiverse, there has been a misalignment in your subscription, and unfortunately the materials for stage 70 have not been included in the previous pack they should have been in. No shit, Sherlock, that was a month ago. Now, when we all complained, they said it'll be in the next pack, which it wasn't in the next pack, and then they've said it'll be in 96. You would have received the correct magazine for 70, but with parts from later stages. The correct materials for stage 70 will be included in your next available dispatch. You will then receive a spare stage 70 later in your subscription, i.e. 94. There is no need to return that spare stage 70, so you can do with it what you like. You will not be charged for the duplicated assembly stage. This error has been as much of a surprise to us as you. Has Loki been up to his old tricks again? No, it is a surprise to you. It isn't a surprise to you, because we all rang up and told you, and you told us it was coming this month. We will keep you informed of the status of your deliveries via email as soon as the package leaves our warehouse next month. Blah, blah, blah. This is how to do. So I'm interpreting that as we will get issue 70 next month, which is, according to my calculations, is due to have a payment taken out on the 5th of September, which means we'll probably get that round about the end of September. Yeah, it's a little bit of crap going on there, and as you know, some people are really upset with Fanhome. I've not been upset with them because mistakes happen. What I have an issue with is if a mistake has been made, don't lie to me. You know, if issue 70 is missing and we're not going to get it till issue 94, tell us. So when they told us earlier that we're getting it in 94, I didn't have a problem with that because they were honest. There's been a cock up, we can't fix it for another 4 or 5 months. At least that's honest. And then I began in my head to make plans to work around it. Once I got some issues, as you can see, I've implemented that plan. I've started to work around it. Even if it's a case of lie but actually send us the part earlier, I ain't happy with that. So Fanhome, I've deducted a fan point from you, so I'm not happy with you. And the problem I've got with them is that I'm doing the gauntlet with them, which is due to finish Christmas. Fantastic, I'm happy with that. RoboCop has had one problem, which they fixed. Fantastic, I'm really happy. If RoboCop was my only part work, I would be happy with Fanhome. E.T. is due to finish next July. I want to say I had a problem with one of the issues. If I did, I can't remember. Let's pretend I had one problem and it was dealt with. I'm happy. So if E.T. was my only build, I'd be happy with Fanhome. I'm aware of various problems that they've had. I know I think there was someone today was saying that they've got an overseas subscription for the Ecto One, and apparently they've just cancelled the subscription on them, which I think is a bit naughty. If you are gonna cancel my subscription, you better give me my money back for previous issues, which we know they won't do. If I say I don't want to do it anymore, I've lost my money. But yeah, if ET and my Robocop was the only part works I did with them, I would be sitting here going now, saying, yeah, I think Fan Home are brilliant. But the problems we've got with the Infinity Gauntlet, I think that's kind of tipped the balance, and it's tipped it big. I'm not counting the damaged issues because it happens and they fixed it, but I don't like being lied to. I'd rather you gave me honest bad news than lying and giving me good news. I'm also aware that Marie Webster's having problems, and I know that they're having problems with Agora as well, which has nothing to do with Fan Home, obviously. But I think what they've done is they've got problems with deliveries, but they're still taking the payments for the next issues. So I think, from what I interpreted, and I'm sorry, Peter, if I read your message wrong, I think they've paid for 3 packs that they haven't received yet. And they will get the packs, and I'm sure they will with Agora. But you don't want to be paying for the next pack before you've received the previous one, because that was what happened with me with the ET. That was the problem I had with the ET. It got delayed, and like I say, I'd paid for the next pack before I received the first one, and I wasn't very happy with that. And I'd said to them, if that happens again, no, sorry, I lie. I actually paid for a pack, and then within a couple of weeks I was paying for the next pack, because the delivery schedule had been delayed, but they didn't delay the payment schedules, so we were still paying on time, but we weren't getting them on time. And I end up saying to him, if you do that again, I am cancelling that. I'm cancelling that payment. I'm getting me money back, and then you will receive the money after 28 days from the last payment. Am I being fair? And they went, yes, you are. So I've told them I'm not paying less than 28 days from the last one. In all fairness, they have done that since, but they've only done it by a few days. And like I say, I have all my budgeting software telling me how much money to put aside, and right now I've got £78 allocated for an ET that was due 4 days ago. So if they then take the next one 24 days later, I'll have the money allocated. Right guys, that is it for me. I'll tell you my work schedule, which is actually quite a nice schedule. Bear with me a sec. Why is my phone frozen? This phone I've got, it's not the all singing brilliant. I mean, I knew it wasn't a top of the range phone. The price I paid, they said it's a new phone, but it's not the new technology. It has a little habit of freezing up there every now and again. So what you have to do is switch it off on the button on the side and then switch it back on. It tends to kick in again. So tonight I am off to London, and then I'll be back early hours of Monday morning. If I don't film that Robocop today, I will be filming it early hours of Monday, so it will be released at 6 o'clock, promise you. I've actually got Monday and Tuesday off, and then I've got what we call northbounds for the next 3 weeks. What a northbound is just like a regular normal shift. I go to work in the morning, I do a day's work, I come home that night, and we'll either be going to Aberdeen, Inverness or Edinburgh. So Wednesday I've got 6 days on the trot, then I've got next Tuesday and Wednesday off, and then I've got 4 days on the trot, then I've got the Monday off, and then the Saturday, Sunday the following week, which is fantastic because I can go to football then. So I've started supporting not as my number one team, but I've started supporting my local non-league team. They're in the Lowland League. It's a little bit like, I've never supported Wycombe as a non-league team, but they came up for the non-league. The situation is, if they win their way promotion, they'll be in the 4th tier of Scotland. Then they'll win promotion to the 3rd. Then the next year they'll be in the Championship. So potentially, I say potentially, they could be playing Celtic and Rangers in 5 years' time. That's the level they're at, and they're absolutely stonking the league every year. They're such a strong team. Apparently there's more to it than that. Apparently they've got more money than any. Apparently they are the Chelsea of the non-league. The Wrexham, they're not the Wrexham because they're not owned by film stars, but and I'm like, well, that's the way it is. It's not like we've got someone owning us that's got millions, but I think football's really exciting down on the lower levels. That's why I love watching Wycombe. You know, all this crap about Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, I think that's boring crap. And half of them, they're not playing because they love the club. You know, they come in and they're like, oh yes, this is the best club in the world. Nah, bollocks. You're after your 150 grand a week, aren't you? Down at the lower levels, even Wycombe Wanderers level, they don't earn a lot more than I do. And East Kilbride players, I bet you some of them I earn more than them. And they're going out and they're doing their day's work, and then they're playing football as well. You know, I couldn't play for them because my shifts don't work out. I don't think my company would give me Wednesdays and Saturdays off just so I can go and have a kick around in a ballpark. But yeah, so I'm off to see football. And I've got 3 days off the 3rd week. That's because I only had 1 day off this week. And if you don't have 2 days off, you can reduce your rest period to 1 day, but it has to be made up within 3 weeks. And I see that I've got an extra day off 3 weeks after this week. So he's obviously done that to make up. So that means then I'll have had a 45-hour period. So God knows what he's going to do to me in October. But I'm getting on really well with the company. As per every company, there's people that don't like me. But do you know what? I've got 2 people. I've been there, 2 weeks. I've got 2 people saying they want to work with me on a permanent basis. I've got 1 person taking the mickey about an incident that happened 2.5 years ago. And I did let it get to me, and I shouldn't. Really, it's a case of just grow up. And there's arguments going on the in chat, which there always is. And I found something out about someone else I thought I liked, but turns out I can't trust him with a 1,000 foot stick. But yeah, I'm getting on really well. I did find it funny. One guy, we talked about the hotels. Now I'm a make-do person. If you guys go somewhere, they put you in a hotel, you've got a nice enough bed, you've got a shower, and they either give you breakfast or they give you money to get breakfast. Most of you probably aren't going to complain, are you? Okay, they're not putting us in the Hilton. And they're not putting us in some flea-infested cesspit. It's a travel lodge. I know some of you know travel lodges firsthand. This particular hotel we stay in, the hotel rooms do overlook a main road, and you're above a petrol station, so there is a certain level of noise. And if you don't like the noise, shut the window, there's like a little inner window, and that does a really good job of blocking the noise out. But the offset of that is that now the room is getting warm. Well, they provide you with a fan, and here's a little trick I know. Travelodge bathrooms, they have an extractor fan. It comes on with the light. So you put the bathroom light on, the extractor fan goes on. It actually does a semi-reasonable job of reducing the heat in the room. If you leave the bathroom door open and you turn the fan on, it gets rid of some of the heat. So between the fan and the extractor fan, it cools it down a bit. Now this guy had said, as you know, I used to work in London. I was staying in travel lodges, and the way that this guy was saying, because I was offering my opinion on the hotels, and I was saying, like, I'm happy with this travel lodge because I haven't got to travel an hour. It's 5 minutes walk from where we deposit the bus. The hotel in London was absolutely lovely, but you used to have to travel from Victoria to Heathrow and then back, and it's an hour's travel each way. And if you bring your coach in late, sometimes you only get 4 or 5 hours sleep, and you've got to do a 12-hour drive back up to Scotland on 4 hours sleep. And that was the way it was. So I'm really happy with the travel lodges. Anyway, the way he'd written this statement, he pretty much said, oh, with all due respect, you don't know travel lodges and you don't know summertime. And I'm like, I'm 52 years old. I think I know what British summer is like, because guess what? I think I've had 53 of them, because I was born just before the summer. So I've had more summers than I've had birthdays, and I've had a few birthdays. I've had a few good birthdays as well. And I was staying in a travel lodge. He stays in a travel lodge 3 times out of 9 days. I was staying in a travel lodge, and I worked out an average of 4 nights a week. On average, 4 nights a week for over a year. So, but yeah, I'm just good at adapting to situations. They don't give you good coffee, drink crap coffee. Don't like the milk they provide you? Well, there's a garage outside, so I'll just nip in and buy a pint of milk. You know, this is how I work. So, yeah, it's quite funny. Anyway, look, I've waffled on there, haven't I? One day, I'm going to do a weekly update that's less than half an hour long. So, as I say, I've got 2 days' work tonight. So I will be 6 o'clock on Sunday. I'll be in bed. I'll be in bed when you're watching this, if you're watching at 6 o'clock. And I'll be like, as you're watching this, if you watch at 6, I'll be up in a couple of hours. And then I'll be hurtling up the motorway back to Glasgow on the overnight. I'm due in about 6 or 7 in the morning. And then I begin my transition from nights to days. So I'll probably be doing a load of filming, a load of model making, etc. And I've got 2 days off, and then I've got a 3 p.m. start on the Wednesday. So yeah, it's I'll be getting a lot done. And then 6 days working, 2 days off, 4 days working, 1 day on, 4 days working, 2 days off. After that, I've got no idea. So, time for lots of modelling and cat playing. They're very confused at the moment because I normally give them breakfast when I wake up. Because I'm going to bed in the morning and not getting up in the morning. Obviously, I've been starting to give them breakfast at night time. And they have semi-adapted to that. And I did actually have a little bit of a nap. And I was up about 5 o'clock this morning. I mean, it's now 8 o'clock as I film this. So I'm going back to bed in a couple of hours for my day sleep. And they're sitting around. They look like they're wanting something, but they're not expecting it. Or they're expecting something, but not wanting it. I fed them last night, proper food. But of course, even when I do give them breakfast, I don't give them dry food anymore because the dry food comes from the hopper. That's one of the negatives of a cat feeder. You lose that, it's the meal time. You're interacting with them. You lose that little bit of interaction, which is why I maybe sometimes just chuck down a few treats. As for his weight, I don't know. It's only been a week since he's been weighed. So maybe I might take him down the vets. I might just shove him in the cat carrier, take him down the vets, and then pop him on the scales and see how he is. But yeah, if I can at least maintain his weight, because we are having trouble with his weight, little bugger. He knows I'm talking about him because he's laying just naturally with his back to me, not because he's in a grump, but his ears keep twitching every time I say him, weight, vets, any words like that. He knows. Does anyone want to go to the vets? Yep, there goes his ears. It's funny how they know certain words, isn't it? Right, guys, have an absolutely fantastic week. I hope you enjoy my Robocop. I hope you enjoy my Warhammer. I hope you enjoy the episode 3 of the boss. I hope you enjoy the gauntlets, and I hope you enjoy the Lancaster this week. So take care, guys. See you later. Bye bye.